In today's captivating episode of Beyond Borders, we're thrilled to announce Jimi Daodu, a dynamic leader on a mission to build a human centric metaverse. With a formula that blends blockchain plus extended reality, he creates an open metaverse. This innovative approach is creating opportunities for everyone in the digital realm. Notably, Jimmy's remarkable journey has encompassed numerous successful transformation and digital change programs. This includes a pivotal divestment project between Barclays Bank PLC and ABSA. A true all rounder in the tech and leadership space, he excels in building relationships, blockchain and NFTs, project management, strategy, cost management. Jimmy is an all rounder. Hi, Jimmy. Welcome to the podcast. And I'm going to straight away shoot into questions. And you have very beautifully touched the topic of human-centric metaverse. Tell me everything about it.
Wow, that's heavy loaded. But hey, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast and talk about what I do and myself. Coming back to your question, human centricity. Again, it goes back to the question of what makes us human. I was at the Dubai Assembly Summit today, and one of the concepts being talked about within AI, the metaverse, was more around leaving no one behind. And I think that is very powerful from a human-centric perspective. And coming back to Voltaire with what we do, it's looking at the art of the possible from a human perspective. How do we start ensuring that we're building technology and building products that touch the lives of people in every day? And I believe those concepts of design makes us human-centric.
Yeah, and like when we generally talk about technology, it's always about machines and anything related.
It's always about the product,
hardware or the software, XYZ.
Exactly.
So what made you come up with this approach? Because it's very it's very scalable because yes, humans
thinking of the right answer now. It goes back to a dining table back in 2021, I think in March, in Essex.
That back.
Nick Merritt's dining table, yes. I, Nick, Emily, and a couple others were, sending out the vision of Voltaire, and we thought, hey, let's take a step back. Let's look at the stories behind great technology brands like Apple. Sure. The storytelling has always been profound in terms of not showing the functionality of the product, but how it makes us feel, and with the metaverse itself, when you look at the concept of redefining human interaction and communication, we thought to ourselves, we need to strip it back. Let's look at building Voltaire from a human-centric perspective, and in theory, that's how
and again, like you have done great work in digital change programs, and I want you to highlight any one challenging project that came your way.
Hey, obviously there were loads, but I'd focus around the project I had with Barclays. I was at Barclays for I think about 3 years, but my last year and a half, I was fortunate enough to lead a divestment project between Barclays and ABSA in South Africa, and that got myself and my team from the UK to South Africa every month for a period of, I think, about 12, 13 months. And I was thrown in the deep end. I was the only black person in a room of very senior executives, so the expectations levels were already set because of that. The topic was very complex. My change project programs haven't been around divestment, so I had to quickly upskill myself, not just from a team perspective, but a presentation perspective, from a budget perspective. It was also the biggest project I've led. It was a £10 million project.
That's massive.
That was massive. So for me, that was the biggest change transformation project, and I think that shaped my career in a whole lot of ways I can't explain today.
Absolutely. And sometimes, when we talk about challenges, those are technically the stepping stone to everything probably I'm doing. For me personally, yes, my challenges have been inspiring. I'm sure it's the same with you. And as a mentor, and it does, like, your learnings
can be somebody else's lessons as well,
Absolutely.
right? Without having to go through the whole thing. So as
Trust
a
me, I have
mentor,
loads of that.
as a mentor and coach, which you kind of do, how do you approach the guiding like emerging talents in the tech segment mostly?
I think this is a very, very tricky but important one, right? So I was fortunate enough to be invited by Shurik Partners last Friday to talk to 5 Korean founders as part of an initiative the Korean government is doing with the UAE. And part of my fireside chats around the learnings, and I put this on LinkedIn yesterday, was around the team. Now, within the tech space, I wouldn't say there isn't loyalty. However, what drives individuals in the workplace are different nowadays with remote working, right? So you could hire talent in Nigeria, for example, and they would want to be compensated like they're hired in the UK.
Yeah,
if it's a UK company, right? Which is understandable.
Yeah.
You could hire talent in the US, San Francisco, and they want to be compensated that way, right? I guess for me, it's always understanding the difference between where you are in a stage of a startup. When you're in a pre-seed stage without revenue and without product, your challenges around resourcing would vary from things like compensation, contract negotiation. And when you find yourself in a very challenging spot, look for founders that have passed that stage. So if you're in pre-seed, look for a seed stage founder. If you're in seed stage, look for a Series A founder and try and have a conversation. We're always willing to help people because I've been through a whole lot when it comes about team, even to the point where there's litigation involved, with court. So I can understand some of the challenges some folks will pass through. And for me, it's like mentoring and coaching. These are the things you need to put in place in day one. Your paperwork, your HR, your compensation plan. And I think, again, coming back to human centricity, always take the team along. Like, there is no such thing as over communication. It's always trying to be transparent with the team as much as possible.
Yep, absolutely agree. And looking ahead, what excites you the most of the future of blockchain, NFTs, metaverse? Any specific projects you're working on that excite you?
Hey, the whole space excites me, and that's why we're still here. Even after, ups and downs and lows and highs, we're still here. I think the intersection between extended reality, blockchain, and AI in a mass adoption perspective, and when I say mass adoption, where we go to schools, universities, and there is a requirement for every student to have either a VR headset or a wallet address or some understanding of how to use an AI tool. I think that is where I see the next 3 to 5 years. I know, yes, there should be regulation. There needs to be safeguarding as well. My eldest son is 6, turning 7 in December, and I'm building this and I'm scared. And I'm good scared, not bad scared. But for him in the next 3-4 years, I'm like, this is going to be part of your day to day. And I understand the capabilities it has today. So in the next 5 years, it's like scary, a really good mentor of mine, Mo Gadwat, always talks about, the safety aspect of AI and how we need to start educating our children now as to what it can do, and also be better parents as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And wrapping up this conversation, which has been very interesting, what is that one advice you would like to give anybody who's venturing into this place now?
Don't. Stick to your 9 to 5.
That was my answer. Every third kid I want to meet, I meet him wants to either become an influencer or, it looks glamorous, but nobody is showing those hours that go behind building that.
Exactly. No, but in all seriousness, if you want to do this, do this. Don't talk about it. A lot of people talk about, I want to have my own startup. I want to be like, Jeff Bezos. I want to be like Mark. I want to be like Jimmy Daodu. There's a lot of work and graft that comes into it. There was a meme on Instagram the other day that goes, I didn't want to, work in a 9-to-5, so I quit my job and I started my own business, and now I work 24/7.
24/7.
It is actually 24/7. So I think mentally you need to be prepared. The advice I'd give you is be mentally prepared. Every other thing you'd get the support,
Go all
but
in.
the mental aspect of it has to be there, and also seek mental support while you go through this phase, because as founders, as entrepreneurs, it's lonely. It's really lonely.
Yes.
You might be struggling with stuff, and at 1 a.m. you want to pick up the phone to call someone to say, hey, I just want to vent about something, or I'm stuck here, I need some help. So my advice is mentally be prepared. It's challenging, but hey, there's a lot of support around. You just need to tap into it.
Absolutely. It was so lovely speaking with you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you for this inspiring journey and the insights that you shared with us today on Beyond Borders. To all our listeners, we encourage you to stay tuned for more thought-provoking conversations on this podcast, where we explore limitless frontiers on technology, leadership, and innovation. Signing off, stay tuned for the next episode.